And Mr. Wirtz, if you will lead us in our pledge.
Let us pray. Lord, we are thankful for our city and the blessings that you've shown us in recent days. We ask and invite your Holy Spirit into our chambers today to preside over our meeting. We ask for your wisdom and guidance over this Board of Mayor and Commissioners as we strive to make the right decisions for our city that is in the best interest of our citizens. Be with our city manager, our staff and employees, and those in attendance today. We pray always in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Stand and salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Goot and Mr. Wirtz. We appreciate that. Motion to receive and file the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion or additions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, a motion to receive and file the minutes for the January 8th, 2026 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any additions or changes, corrections? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we'll move into our hearings from Mayor and Commission. Mr. Goot, we'll start with you this time.
Just want to welcome everybody to our meeting. I'm going to be brief. I'm just thankful for our staff who's got their heads together on this storm that's coming up, and everybody's on the same page. Thank you, Todd, for your communication, and Steve and Mark Hall. And I'm thankful for our staff and their speedy looking over this storm that we have on our way. Welcome to our meeting. It's a lengthy agenda, and so I'm glad you're here.
Mr. Martin?
Stay safe this weekend. I want to thank Barry and Mark for the work they did on the consent agenda requests that I made. The information you've provided is very helpful. I think the public will find it edifying as well. I appreciate the work that you put in, and
Very good.
thank you.
I'll go ahead and go. One thing that I did receive, I received a very good compliment on our department for water. I think Mark was telling you about that earlier, out on Skyline Drive, that they were worked on the coal and got it done. So we've had 2 calls on that. So I don't know what they did out there that was, but they've done a great job, and we appreciate, when we have these water breaks, when the pipes expand and contract. It's a problem that every city in the nation has, and we try to get on it as quick as we can, and we have a terrific crew. I responded to the message that was sent to me complimenting them. I said, the greatest asset that we have is our people, not only the people that do the work, but also the people that we serve and the people that we do the work for. So we appreciate that. We have a cake count, which is coming up on the 28th. That'll be conducted from a group here of volunteers in the area to count our homeless in the area. So we'll try to get it as accurate as possible, but that'll be done on the 28th. And during the public participation, I did ask Mr. Martin to come and give a short presentation on what the chamber is doing and to kind of keep us up to date. So that'll be coming up here soon. All right, Commissioner Reimer.
So I want to welcome everyone here today. I put a little thing together here. It says, this weekend our city and the surrounding region face the possibility of significant winter storm, with forecasts predicting heavy snowfall ranging from several inches to over a foot. Residents are urged to prioritize safety during this potentially hazardous weather event, to avoid driving unless absolutely necessary, as roads conditions may become dangerous. A little note here, our street department currently has over 600 tons of salt on hand, ready to face this storm head on. We encourage everyone to check on their friends and family, especially those in need of assistance, and take any and all necessary precautions to stay safe. Also have here that power outages are possible due to this storm. If you experience an outage, please report it to Kentucky Power on their website or by calling them. I need to stress this, do not call 911 to report power outages or to inquire about road conditions. Emergency lines need to remain open for urgent situations. So that's all I have.
Just want to welcome everybody here. I'll be brief because we got one in the audience that's liable to go at any time. But I will say, rest up, Sean Murray.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would yield my time to Mr. Workman for our annual audit presentation.
Okay. Workman?
Move these kind of out of the way right here, if that's all right. Anthony Workman with Kelly Galloway, Smith Goolsby, the audit director on the audit again this year. We'll go ahead and say appreciate everyone's help on getting the audit completed. If you have a book in front of you, you know, it's not necessary. It's pretty heavy duty. Kill a few flies with it, easily swatting them. So I'm gonna hit some high points in the audit. As you can see, it's very thick. So if after the meeting or another point in time, if you have questions or concerns, you can get my phone number, my email address. I'd be happy to address any questions or you have. If I can't answer them here, or just once you actually get through and be able to look at it in detail yourself, feel free to ask me, to contact me later. So, like I said, I will hit some high points. About 3 pages in is our independent auditor's report. It states we have audited the company financial statements of the city for the year ending June 30th, 2025, and our opinion is in the second paragraph. There it states that the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the financial position and the activity of the city for that year end. So it's what's considered a clean or an unmodified audit report. On page 4 starts the management's discussion and analysis. This breaks down some information prepared by the finance department, provides analysis and comparisons to prior year, and some budgetary highlights and a few things. I won't go through that, just kind of want to point it out. Our responsibility for this is to make sure it doesn't disagree with the financial statements, and we did not know the issues there. The first statement I will point out is over on page 18, and it starts at, well, I'm sorry, page 19, I apologize. This is a statement of net position. It is essentially the balance sheet. If you looked at the city as a whole, it includes every fund of the city, not just the general fund, all the business type activities such as utility fund, bus system, the parking garage. It consolidates all those on this statement here. At the end of the year, overall cash between every fund was about $48 million. The issue with that is almost, I'd say 32 of that was restricted. You had about $12.5 million restricted as part of the ARPA grant money still sitting there, and another $12.5 in conference center grant money that's included in that amount, and then another $7 million in bond proceeds that were still out there for the conference center at the end of the year. On the following page, the liabilities of the city, there was about $60 million in long-term liability. Oh, I'm sorry, $60 million in net pension liabilities. That's the retirement liabilities that go along with the state every year. The city can't really control those. There is about a little over $5 million for the police and fire and the utility pension that's still hanging out there. That's been decreasing over the years. All the city can really do is for the county or for the state retirement is pay what's required as part of the payroll as a percentage. Now that percentage rate has been decreasing over the past couple of years, and it's supposed to decrease next year. I believe I did some quick math here. If payroll stays the same, they'd be between 25 and 26, about $400,000 worth of savings because of that decrease, and then another $200,000 worth of savings to 27 because of that rate decrease that's going through. There, at the end of the year, there was $37 million in long-term obligations, other bonds, leasing obligations out there. That was increased $6 million from the $9 million that was issued, less the payments of about $3 million. So that's what's outstanding for the year. The statement that you're probably more used to seeing, or I would say more relevant, is over on page 24. It's the statement of revenues and expenditures for all the governmental funds of the city. It breaks down the general fund, and each fund, there's actually 11 or 12 now, adding more and more columns on here. The first column you'll see is for the general fund. The general fund ended the year with $11.1 million in fund balance. And that's, I would say that always sounds nice when you break it down a little bit. There's about $13.8 million due from other funds that the general fund is basically fronted the cash for at the end of the year. That's due back to it. It's included in that. And then also at the end of the year, there was $1.7 million due on the line of credit that's out there. And actually there was about $3 million in negative cash at the end, as of the end of the year. Essentially checks written that hadn't been mailed out yet is what it was. So, I mean, 11 million overall, but when there's kind of a cash crunch, obviously that's why the line of credit was taken out during the year. But the one thing is, I'd say one upside is, if you look at revenues year over year, they were up a little bit. See if I have it here. Overall, I believe, I apologize, I thought I had it right in front of me. Tax collections and occupational license fees were up a few $100,000, and in total expenditures, if you look at the total expenditures line item for the general fund, they were down year over year, a few $100,000 as well. The tax increment finance fund, over the second column over, it had a decrease of $25,000. That is an improvement over prior years. I think last year was a couple of $100,000 decrease. That's where the tax collections just for that TIF district are coming in, are designated for that bond fund, and those have upticked over the past year, so are helping to offset that bond payment.
They are one of the funds that owes the general fund lots of money. Is that correct?
That is one of them that owes. Yes, it owes about 1.3 to the general fund at the end of the year, is what's outstanding there. So, capital projects, over the last column on the right, or second to last column on the right, capital projects fund had about $4 million in grant revenue in there. That's related to the Winchester Avenue project, and that's the majority of, if you look at the capital outlay that ran through the year of $6 million, majority of that was still related, finishing up the Winchester Avenue project. There were some other items in there, I believe, some sidewalk replacements and some city building repairs as well are included in that amount. So, to point out a couple of new items here, like I said, I will not go at them in detail, but over on page 28, there were a couple of new funds, if you were to look at this, on the basically the business type activities of the district for the year. There's two columns we added: the Conference Center Fund and the Paramount Arts Fund. Those are two new funds of the city that were added during the year. There wasn't much activity, but I just wanted to point those out in case, if you'd compare back to last year, that you'd see where those were added on to the statements this year. So starting on page 45 is actually the footnotes to the financial statements. And that's probably 45, probably the next 30 pages or so. I won't go through all of them. I'll hit a couple. The first footnote just goes over the reported entity. The second is the accounting policies the city utilizes, which are considered generally accepted, that if you were to compare to other cities within the state, they would have very similar policies that the city utilizes in their statements to prepare their financial statements. So on page 54, like I said, I'm just going to point out a couple here. It's the capital asset footnote 6. You can see the breakdown of the increases and the changes in what the city has spent on capital projects during the year. The one on page 55, it's broken down by governmental activities and business type activities. Over on page 55, business type activity, the majority, of course, being the utility fund. You can see overall there was about an $18 million increase in additions, offset with last year. So in net, it's about $9 million. Most of that has to do with water plant repairs, water plant project, and things of that nature. But then the following footnotes, 7 and 8, go through the retirement obligations of the city. Quite a bit disclosed in here, assumptions used in calculating those retirement obligations. All this is required to be included. I was going to say if you want to see what the discount rates were, what the projected cash flows were, it is included in there. The other footnote I want to point out is on page 69, the long-term obligations. Actually, it breaks down the outstanding bonds of the city at the end of the year and the activity for the year. You can see added on the general obligation bond for 2024, the 9.9 million, and being offset by the payments. But I did want to show that you can see the activity within those bond payments. And following that, there is actually for the next, I believe, 5 pages, there's actually a payment schedule you can see over the next five years and every 5 years after that for each individual outstanding bond. On page 77, I kind of always like to point this out. You can see there's a summary of the health insurance claims for the year. About middle of the page as far as summarizing the claims liability on the health insurance. Over year, there's about an $800,000 increase in claims on the health insurance fund. It ended the year at almost $5.5 million of claims processed for employee health insurance.
Was that just basically the amount we were paying or number?
That is the claims. The number would be this claims payment. So if you look over that next column over, that's the actual amount that was actually paid out in cash during the year, that 5.1. The second column from the right, claims payment. So the liability increased toward the end of the year, but yes, a little over $5 million was actually paid out in health insurance claims during the year. The next statement over on page 103. Following that, there's I would say a bunch of required disclosures on most. Oh, sorry, hit the microphone on the retirement plan. But over on page 103, this is the schedule of expenditures of federal awards. This shows all the federal awards that flow through the city during the year. And we are required, as part of a single audit, to test certain major programs. We go through a risk assessment and look at usually more of the higher dollar programs. This year we looked at the Housing Choice Voucher Program, which is usually right up there, a little over $4 million every year, and the still left over of the Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, which is essentially the ARPA money. We looked at both of those. We do have some compliance and internal control items over in the back for the voucher fund, for the Housing Choice Voucher, for the Section 8 program, essentially. I think we've talked to the city manager and the director over that and gave some recommendations that they're going through. Nothing was considered material noncompliance that would require any sort of qualifying of the report or anything, but there's other recommendations and compliance items that are included on there. Additional items that you may have, I believe, I'm not sure, Michelle, did you know if there's a couple other letters, were those included? There's a couple other letters that are kind of detached in the back. One is our report on agreed upon procedures for the Section 8 program. They're required to enter their financial information into another system with HUD, and we're required to make sure that agrees with the audit. That's what this report basically says. One of those two, that information agrees, but that report's included in here as well, and it is listed separate. So, would anybody have any questions or concerns? Like I said, I know I went through it pretty quick, and if
I'm sure we will after we have a time to digest this. I mean,
I understand completely. You're talking 115 pages, so and it is a lot to. to go through.
Can you explain the audit process for folks that may not know, like the timeline, when your team comes in to audit, the length of the audit, how long you're here, how many folks are here?
Yes, so we usually start before the end of the year, usually in June, we'll do some planning and some transactional testing, looking at individual invoices, looking at individual payroll transactions, start looking at the grant programs to see what would be considered major. And then we usually come in September, usually right around Labor Day, it seems like, and to go through the end of year balances and look at anything else transactionally wise, individual invoices that would be required to. This year, the audit was delayed. I know it's been we're actually a little bit sooner than usual, but we usually try to shoot for, it used to be a November, December, try to get it finalized. This year, the federal government delayed that. I mentioned we do a single audit. That's basically testing the federal money that comes through. They didn't release the what's called the compliance supplement, or what we're required to use to test those programs, until the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So all of our audits this year have actually been delayed a couple months. That's usually out in May, and that's with the government shut down and everything. That got delayed until basically Tuesday, I think at like 4 o'clock, right before Thanksgiving. That actually came out and issued. So then we could start actually finalizing our
So that
audits.
explains why we're kind of getting this late.
That's why you're getting in January. Yes, if we would have got that in May when it usually comes out, we could have actually start finalizing stuff in September and October, and got it
You don't
sooner.
anticipate for that for the coming year, right?
I would say no, but that's I can't. I don't know the mind of the federal government sometimes. Office of Management and Budget, so I don't. It wouldn't be office, but they did release a draft, but we were not allowed to actually issue a report based on that draft.
Right.
So once it wasn't until they actually finalized it that we were actually able to issue our report. But we usually have, as far as number of people, you mentioned number of people, 6. I usually have about 5 or 6 of us in that week in June that we come out, and then we're usually out in a couple other weeks in September with another 5 or 6, or usually the same 5 or 6 people out at that point.
Where can the public receive a copy of this?
It is available, I believe, will be on the city's website. Is that
We
correct?
put it on the city website, and we also are working on a PAFR. It is a non-accountant's audit that we actually send in the utility bills, that takes the findings of the audit for the major funds, and it puts it in non-accounting terms where our public would understand where their money is going. It would show like graphs of, like where the money is spent, like public services, public safety, and the finance department does send that in every utility bill every year.
Okay.
And this audit is for only 6 months of your term, and so the total expenses that you all reduce through personnel reductions and stuff will not fully show in this audit because it's only 6 months of it. But there have been some expense reductions in the general fund, but not to the total level that you all have reduced.
The audit is also available through federal government's website. It does get submitted to them. It's called the Federal Audit Clearinghouse. So it is available on there as well, if anybody just look up City of Ashland. So.
And even can come to the city building, and we would gladly provide them a copy also.
Okay.
No.
Any other questions?
Yeah, on page 74, you noted interfund transactions. There was $25 million that were transferred between funds. Was that an unusual amount of transfers?
That's basically overall amount due at the end of the period, at 25 million. Those are basically amounts due, and it is up, I believe it is higher than what it has normally been.
Did you say what amount the utility fund owes the general fund?
The utility fund owes the general fund, I can tell you here, about 4.8 million at the end of the year.
Is that a result, what were the transfer, can you tell what the transfers?
What usually that is, it's not really those are just amounts due from the utility fund to the general fund. Usually what happens is the general fund sometimes will pay expenses and pay checks through the general fund. And it's kind of just an accounting of before it gets classified over the utility fund. That's more of what what those are. Basically, expenses that the general fund is fronted, essentially.
And the line of credit, when did that go into effect? Was it in January of last year?
Yes, January of,
And at the time that the audit was dated from June 30th, 1.8 million had been used on the line of credit.
I think it's about 1.7.
Remained.
yes. No, I think 1.7 was utilized at the end. It was,
1.8 remained.
yes, yes. Yep.
Now we're zero, right?
We're at zero currently.
Oh, at zero, okay, yeah, that's,
We've been
Wanted
at
to
zero
note
for
that.
about-
yes, yeah, it's good to know, yes, that's
For
great.
about 120 days, we've been at zero.
Very good.
Due to the reductions made.
Due to the reductions made, yes, that is a huge part of it.
Later this year, we'll be able to see fully, or what we've got accomplished. What you all got accomplished.
We all accomplished as a team, staff, and your all's leadership.
All right, any other questions? Thank you very much for commenting, and I'm sure we'll have some other
If you
questions.
have any other, like I said, feel free to reach out, call me, or email me, however you need
All
to.
right, thank you again.
Thank you, Mr.
Thanks.
Workman.
Thank you.
All right, any other, Mr. City Manager?
No, sir.
All right. Let's move on to our public participation. Mr. Martin, if you want to go ahead.
Afternoon. We emptied out the whole office. I mean, we have Sidney Pierce and myself and Samantha Prince. Hunter Boyd, who, as you all know, is the Executive Director of the Northeast Kentucky Economic Development Authority, is in our office space as well. And that's our new intern, R.J. Pritchard, who, just a great team. Mayor Charles and I, of course, the city of Ashland has a seat on our board. The mayor and I were talking about, at our last meeting, we gave kind of a recap of what had gone on in '25. He asked us to come in, do that. We're always happy to do this. Thank you guys for showing up at the events last week, the business after hours. Always something going on. We have grounds for discussion coming to Ashland here in 2, maybe 3 weeks as we keep moving around. We had a really great year. In calendar year '25, we had 52 new members. It's worth noting in the last 19 months, that number is 104 new members. Email contacts, every time we blast out, is 1,207. That's up. Our membership growth is 13.6. Overall, it's closer to 20 since the change and the rebranding. Our email open rate has gone to 44%, which is just outstanding. We're getting a lot of communication back and forth. Got a state award this past year for our, and you all get it, the Forge, the newsletter that goes out. So kind of watch for those. We have 416 active members right now, and last year in '25, we did 105 events. When I talk about new membership, I also want to point out our membership drive is just kicking off, so you'll see the chamber ambassadors, the young professionals and others out and about. We like to make sure all our members get seen a couple times a year, but they also help us bring in new members. Our next slide is about programs, and I want to turn that over to Sidney Pierce, as she works more closely with the programs than I do, so yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. So our chamber programs, that's our biggest outreach into the community. So we oversee, we're the chamber that serves Boyd and Greenup counties. So all of these programs are available to everyone therein. Our community leadership development program just wrapped up in October. We are the longest standing community leadership program in the state of Kentucky when it comes to chambers. So we're really proud of that. And I know we have several City of Ashland employees who have gone through that, so we appreciate your all support. This is open to any emerging leader in the community. So any business owner that has anyone that they might see like a spark of leadership in, or they might want to just develop those skills a little bit better, this is a great program for them. The applications for that for this year's program open in June of 2026. There's going to be some more information on our website about that. We also have our Youth Leadership of Boyd and Greenup counties. So that program is for high school juniors. This program has been going on, I think, for 30-something years now, and we are super proud of it. The evolution that it's made just in the past few years has been excellent. We're really taking into account what the kids need, what they get out of this experience, and what it means to them. So we're trying to integrate more technology, and we all know AI is coming to take over the world. But so we're expanding our program to make it make sense for the students and make the skills that they learn there applicable as they move forward in their career. In any high school junior, any current sophomore, incoming junior, those applications will open in March of 2026, and there will be more information on our website about that as well. And then we will be reaching out to the schools directly for more about that program. The Young Professionals Association is our networking group of any young professional in the area who is 45 or under. It's a great chance to connect with like-minded individuals who are kind of in the same growing. We get together at least 3 times a month. Most of them are more laid back, just getting together, building our professional network, and knowing who we can rely on when we need something in the community. We also have 2 big projects that we do every year. So we have our backpack program. So we work with the schools directly, the resource centers. We get names of students who are in need of school supplies for the next year. So the young professionals this past year filled over 400 backpacks for students. So that's been our main focus. We also have a scholarship at ACTC that we fund every year. Our biggest fundraiser for that is the YPA Winter Classic, which is going to be on March 3rd of this year. So I invite all of you all to participate. That's going to be a really fun event. More events for the YPA can be found on our website as well. And I think there is a QR code to our website on the next slide. Yes, so.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's pretty much it. We're a block away. I love the fact that we can come down to the meetings more frequently now, and things are kind of rolling well. Check out the website. Lots of information. There's our event calendar. There's also a community calendar, so anything you need to put on it, just absolutely, you can. You all have your own secure login. But that's pretty much it. We just want to say thank you for all the support. Thanks for being there for us. And anything you need from the Northeast Chamber, we're just...
Well, we appreciate your report and actually what you've done of increasing the membership. And with economic development, I mean, this commission, now we've got a lot of things out of the way. We'll be focusing this year on a lot of our economic development efforts. So I'm sure we'll be reaching out and collaborating.
Love to see you guys anytime. Do you have any questions? Anybody?
Thank you again and your team for coming and presenting to us.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
we just beat the blizzard, and ours, we're like 112 pages shorter than Anthony.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, any other individuals would like to address the commission? If you'll state your name and your address.
Mike Maynard, 1819 Eloise Street, with Hillcrest Bruce Mission. And so it seems fitting in January to kind of give you a roll-up, kind of just like how Scott did. And it's because we receive a significant amount of funding from you all through CBDG, through the opioid abatement funds, and to know what that investment in the mission does for the community. We just want you to know how appreciative we are and the impact that it does make. And so, and when I was here last time, I know DJ had asked about our Christmas store and things like that. And so we had 1,501 shoppers at our Christmas store for the 3 weeks in December. And we sold 16,755 items. Most we've ever done. And it's, the average shopper spent $7 on 11 items. And so that makes a huge difference in folks that can say that they bought Christmas for their kid. And so that was a blessing. We also do a Christmas present program for kids in our service area, which is between 6th and 13th Street here in Ashland. and our senior citizens that we deliver food to. 198 children received presents, and that was because of churches, businesses, and a lot of individuals that adopted these kids and these senior citizens. Had 185 senior citizens that got Christmas presents this year. And so you may think that, well, CBDG doesn't fund Christmas presents or things like that, but the money that we get from CBDG that is directed toward whether it's operational expenses or for the food pantry, it frees up other donor money that comes in then. Instead of having to be spent on that, we can use it to do these things. So you get credit for that because the money that we get from you enables us to do all these other things. And we talk to the Kentucky Colonels about that all the time. They fund us for a food pantry, but it goes to so much more. Our dental program, which we'll be expanding here shortly, we're in our 18th month now. It was a year and a half ago when we did the big event here at the Transportation Center, and we hit our 2,000th appointment 3 weeks ago out of the program, and it looks like we're averaging about 2 more patients per day already this year than what we did last year. And so we remain the only dentist in Boyd County taking Medicaid at this time. Right now, there's about 400 families that receive a monthly food box from us. We have 450 seniors that get a commodity box from USDA. So a total of about 750 food boxes that go out every single month. And out of those, 350 of those boxes are delivered to homebound seniors that can't get to us or can't get out to get food. And so that is probably about the biggest blessing for us to be able to do. Daniel and Casey and the other volunteers that do that are able to go out with folks and not just deliver food, but just to find out how they're doing and if there's other things that they need. And then the other part I'll cover is the biggest part is our work placement program, which is focused around folks who want to get ahead and want to succeed, and they just need help getting over barriers. And so the goal of that program is to help make people self-sufficient so that they don't need assistance on a regular basis. And so last year, we were able to help 12 people find stable housing that were homeless. That brings us up to 40 people that we've helped get housing. We had 12 people who passed their permit or their driver's license. Sometimes if you don't have a vehicle or your family doesn't have a vehicle, it's just not important. And so that takes us to 43 people that we've helped get a permit or driver's license. And that does include 3 people who got their CDL who are working in jobs making really good money through that. Here in the last 2 weeks, we have gifted 2 vehicles to folks. And the last one, very special, a lady who had come into our work placement program, hit the ground running, got into the paid internship part of our program, started college, had a vehicle when she came in the program, broke down. And she borrowed her son's car, and he got a job in Richmond, was leaving at the end of this month. And so she didn't know what she was going to do about a vehicle because she lives out in the county and she has to take care of her kid, get to school, get to the mission for work. And a couple in the community donated a vehicle to Phillips Body Shop. They fixed it, gave it to us so that we could then gift it to her. And so that enabled her, she started back to school on this last Tuesday. And so without that vehicle, she would not have been able to continue college.
Mike, would you like to recognize the other people who gave you vehicles to give away?
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. So I know I'm over time, but we have a partnership through United Way with Tri-State Auto Connection. We have received 3 vehicles from them that has went to folks. King's Daughters has donated vehicles to us. We have gotten vehicles from Fairview Baptist. We have gotten, so the vehicle registration office actually has had 2 people that had bought a car, didn't know what they were going to do with their old car. They told them to get a hold of us, and so we were able to get vehicles from individuals that were getting other vehicles registered. It is a network of folks who, the very first one called me and said, is there a way I can donate my car to you? They weren't going to give me much for it. And I was like, we'll figure out how. And that first vehicle, it was a van, went to a guy who lived at DeBoard Terrace, was walking to the mission to get his hours in, wanted to start college and couldn't because he didn't have a vehicle. And that vehicle went to him so that he could start college. And so these aren't just vehicles that go to people just to make it more convenient or make it easier. These are vehicles that enable people to go to school or to get to work. And that impacts the community. We've had our 34th person that's earned their GED. We have had 14 more people start college this year, brings us to a total of 86. We had 11 more people that graduated from college this year, our biggest year. That takes us to 36 folks that so that was, wait a minute, nope, 86. 11 more graduated, takes us to 31. And the biggest thing, 38 people out of our program went to work this year. And that took us to 203 people that have started work out of our program. And then here, just in the last month, our 12th person became a homeowner. And we had 5 homeowners just this last year. And that lady who became a homeowner, she was able to get her home because she could afford it, because she had a job, because her brother gave her his car. That car her brother gave her was a car that we gifted to him when he was in our program and started ACTC. And so all of these good things are made possible by the support that we get from United Way, from Kentucky Kernels, from River Cities Harvest, from the city. The opioid settlement money that we got 2 years ago, which we're about out of. I'll probably be asking for some more from that. But it's went to people who are able to walk along with these folks who want to be able to provide a better life for their family and can't do it just because it's just too hard. And so the funding that we get, we're able to apply it and intervene to make it easier for them to succeed, because they want to succeed. They want to do better. They just need somebody to walk along with them and to help them. And so thank you. Thank you for believing in us and providing the funding that you do through CBDG and opioid and all the other ways that you do.
We appreciate your work.
And appreciate the personal support, that you drop off donations to us, you save up egg cartons and all that kind of stuff. But it's a blessing to be here in Ashland in this community and the support that we get from this whole community. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maynard.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, any others like to address the commission? Hearing none, we'll move on to our old business. Mr. Wheeler. Item A.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, approving and adopting an amended cafeteria plan agreement between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and McGregor and Associates, Inc., previously adopted by ordinance number 86, series of 2020, and authorizing and directing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary for implementation of said amended plan.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item B.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement with Neighbors Helping Neighbors, Inc., the subrecipient of $300,000 for roof replacement at the neighborhood located at 2516 Carter Avenue from the Community Development Block Grant Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
I abstain.
Item C.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement with Safe Harbor of Northeast Kentucky, Inc., the subrecipient of $60,000 for roof replacement on building number 2 from the Community Development Block Grant Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item D.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Lights Enterprises, Inc. for the purchase of all labor, materials, equipment, and services for the demolition and removal of all debris at 425 30th Street and 429 30th Street in the amount of $12,450 for the Department of Community and Economic Development to be paid from the general fund.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, item E.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Lights Enterprises, Inc. for the purchase of all labor, materials, equipment, and services for the demolition and removal of all debris at 924 Prospect Avenue and 934 Prospect Avenue in the amount of $42,898 for the Department of Community and Economic Development to be paid from the Community Development Block Grant Funds."
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Seems like a lot of these properties we're getting now that are right next to each other.
Yeah. These needed to go for a long time. The neighbors are ecstatic.
How many will this be for us to have completed?
They've done 25 so far in 2025. I think the grand total, I don't know the grand total, probably close to 100, or if not more,
Wow.
over time. But in 2025, we're at 25 properties.
Okay.
Are these two properties quite a bit bigger than what we normally
They're
take
two
down? Because
stories.
They're on the hill there on Prospect. That's a real tough place to.
They're on the hillside.
Out of,
Yeah.
That's what causes them.
The CDBG funds, they have to make sure these put down wage, so that's
all right, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item F.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, repealing Ordinance 152, 2025, which authorized a contract between the City of Ashland and Cosby Construction LLC for the sidewalk replacement project Phase 3 in the amount of $280,716 for the Department of Engineering."
So
First and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item G.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a construction contract between the City of Ashland and Leidy Contracting LLC for the sidewalk replacement project Phase 3 in the amount of $327,512.60 for the Department of Engineering."
So moved.
Second. Yeah,
Discussion?
the last meeting, we said this was basically to take up the contract that was canceled, but when I read the summary, it says existing sidewalk, curb cuts, driveway, entrances, various streets, all areas of the city. Is there more work in this than just what was being covered by Cosby?
No, this is the exact same bid that was bid out.
Okay,
Lottie's the second lowest bidder.
that's all I have. Thank you.
Hey, I got one quick question. Let's say a water line breaks and we have to tear up a sidewalk to fix it. What fund does that come out of? Does that come out of this fund? Does that come out of the utility fund?
I believe it comes out of the utility fund through our patch contract.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
Utility fund.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item H.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky adopting by reference updated procurement regulations for the City of Ashland, Kentucky, January 2026, and repealing ordinance number 49, series of 2023."
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item I.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, amending Section 2 of Ordinance Number 93, Series of 2025, which is commonly known and referred to as the FY 2025-2026 Budget Ordinance of the City of Ashland."
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Our consent agenda.
A resolution of the City of Ashland, Kentucky adopting, authorizing, and approving the course of action presented by the city manager on the items appearing on the consent agenda for the regular meeting of the Board of City Commissioners of January 22nd, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second, discussion?
Thank you for all the detail on here.
Absolutely. Makes a big difference.
Chief Alley, on this air system, will that actually be on Rescue One? I mean, is that how they do that, or?
Mayor and Commissioners, yes, it will actually be a piece of equipment that is installed on that unit by the factory that manufactured the unit.
Oh, okay, so it'll be out of service for a while?
Approximately, we're looking at about a week.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Chief, while you're up, do we have an update on engine 3, the one the tree fell on?
It returned to service this past Friday and is back in service at South Ashland.
Good deal. Thank you.
Let's see. I think that's all I had. All right, any other discussion?
Yeah, just quick with Mr. Hoff. How's the reservoir going?
Mayor and Commissioners, obviously, they're running into some issues with the weather right now. They've had their equipment freeze up on them and stuff, but they are removing solids right now. I need to get up there today to get a total as to how much has been removed so far. But I think earlier in the week, had a spreadsheet. I think it was about 300 cubic yards that's been removed so far. But I want to confirm that for sure, and I can let you all know the amounts.
Where are the solids going that are removed?
We have a what's called a beneficial use permit that we're permitted to store it up there at the reservoir. It's spelled out within the permit, the area, but we're storing it at the reservoir, and then we'll be able to use it for backfill or those types of things. And depending on how much is there,
We
for
can make
other-
it available to third
yes.
parties, right?
yes, yes.
Certainly a whole lot easier this time.
It is, and we think we have some good ideas going forward from doing this. Maybe some possible modifications to how we drain the reservoir and possibly even drain it into the sewer. We've been talking to sewer
Right.
collection about doing that. We think that it's something we can do that be even more of a cost savings in the future, to where we can possibly do this all without the help of a contractor. But this is just really preliminary and
Just throwing
kind
around.
of water cooler talk at this point, but we think it's possible.
All
Anything
right.
else?
Thank you.
Any other? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, we'll move into our new business, item A.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and approving change order number 2 between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Judy Construction Company for the Roberts Drive screen replacement project, increasing the contract in the amount of $9,467 for the Department of Engineering.
So moved.
Second.
Second, discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item B.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Tri-State Construction and Enterprises LLC for the Ashland Fire Department shower installation project in the amount of $53,860.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? I mean,
Is
that's
this a
pretty good
budgeted
price.
item, Mr. City Manager?
It's pending a budget adjustment.
Pending a budget adjustment.
Yes.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item C.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a service agreement between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and United Diagnostic Services LLC to provide on-site screening services for employees.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Is this only for the fire department, or is it available for other city employees?
It's citywide.
Good,
Is that correct, Samantha?
That is correct.
good. Thank you.
All employees.
Excellent. All right, any other discussion?
Very good program.
Yes, we're excited about this.
And Ms. Salyers did a great job of going out and finding the best rate, situation, solution, and I believe we're going to do this at the fire department. Is that right? So thank you, Chief Alley,
Annual.
for accommodating.
Annual deal.
Thank you, Sam.
Good job.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item D,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of Ashland and LC United Painting Company, Inc. in the amount of $367,500 for the High Knob Water Storage Tank Rehabilitation Project for the Department of Utilities.
So moved.
Second.
discussion? I know this seems like an awful lot of work, to that water storage tank. Should be almost brand new. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item E,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and approving change order number 1 between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Everett J. Prescott, Inc. for the 13th Street Underground Tank Project, increasing the contract in the amount of $2,023.60 for the Department of Engineering.
So moved.
Second.
discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item F,
Reading and adoption of a municipal order entitled, a municipal order of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an application for the Kentucky Fire Commission Personal Protective Equipment Grant in the amount of $7,000 for the Ashland Fire Department.
So moved.
Second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item G,
Reading and adoption of a municipal order entitled, a municipal order of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a temporary construction easement between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Mad Ventures LLC regarding the Spring Park Sanitary Sewer Project.
So moved.
Second.
discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item H,
Reading and adoption of a municipal order entitled, a municipal order of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and approving acceptance of safety grant funds in the amount not to exceed $2,500 and authorizing and directing the mayor to execute any and all documents related to said grant acceptance from Kentucky Employers Mutual Insurance.
So moved.
motion first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we'll move into the executive.
Actually, Mayor, we have one add-on,
Okay.
carry-up item. It's a request from Ashland, Boyd County, Calixburg Office of Emergency Management, Tim England, declaring a local state of emergency for this weekend's upcoming forecast. After spoke with Chief Kelly last night, we thought maybe we'd try to do this preemptively instead of retroactively this time. So
Good idea.
simply a resolution of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, declaring a local state of emergency effective January 24th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? I think that's good thinking ahead, really good. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Mayor, one other thing, we talked about maybe coming up with a proposed ordinance amendment on data centers.
Yes.
And I hope that maybe we're going along those lines for maybe a conditional use, so that we have some control if a developer wants to put one of those in the city.
Well, you want to make that in form of a motion to let them
I
work on that?
will if it's appropriate. As long as, I don't think we need, I'm just expressing what I think we all agree is that we need to address that and address it now as opposed to later.
Would you want to put that in our
Sure.
work session?
Sure.
Also, I'd like to bring something up. Our Boyd County Fiscal Court, they do a great job with economic development, and Mr. Boyd there. And to that, they have 2 large events each year, 2 large concerts each year. And the city, we're going to be having potentially 4 buses that would be declared surplus at some point in the very near future. And I would like us to consider donating those buses or working out some type of agreement with the fiscal court if they would be interested in those buses, for them to acquire the buses for, whatever purpose they may have. I know there've been some expressed that they may be interested in using those for those concerts and other events that they may have.
They have been declared surplus. I have spoke with Justin Pruitt about the donation of one. He's interested in even purchasing the other, and we have a surplus sale. But they also use them, and the city has let them borrow them for their events when we were actually using them. They use them for the Little League events. They actually transport parents and grandparents out to the field because there's parking problems on opening day. They've used them for events. They have events in the fall where they have hay rides. They do it with parking and other events, but they have expressed interest in the buses.
Well, by transferring them, we would transfer the maintenance cost and all over to them if.
And it would also
They're there. It's
Yeah,
theirs.
they're theirs.
It would also get them off our insurance.
And it would be insurance that they would be assuming and all that. By state law, we can transfer from government unit to government unit without compensation, so I think we ought to go forward with it.
I think we ought to do it, and this is a way for us to, continue to build on our collaboration, working with the county.
Right.
And there's been some things that I've had discussion with Judge Cheney and some of the commissioners, and even Michelle Veach about in the future, maybe a work session topic of collaborating to purchase bulk salt, vehicle equipment.
We ought to look toward having a joint meeting sometime.
I think that'd be
That's
great.
gonna be my suggestion.
I'm all for it if they throw in some Leonard Skinner tickets.
Who's Leonard Skinner?
I knew that was coming now.
Okay, I'm gonna get control here.
Aaron's
All
band
right,
probably
so
plays some
You can bring
Skinner.
that material to us and what we
Yeah,
need to do.
you have already declared them surplus. I would have to ask Mr. Wheeler how I guess it'd be a
It's
lease
just one we have
agreement.
right now that's surplus?
We have 4.
That's all of
We
four.
need, Mr. Wheeler, a motion authorizing the mayor to execute any documentation necessary to make that transfer.
I think it
So
sounds
moved.
good.
That sounds good. That's a motion.
That's a motion.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? You get that, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Got it.
Good job.
All right, very good. Any other, need to come before the board before we go into executive session?
I want to tell Sonny, working for the MCA is a good song to start out with Skinner.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So when we come back, we probably will just do a recess for our work session, which is on the 28th at noon? Is that right?
Yes, sir, I think it's
Noon?
noon, yes.
Yes.
The 28th at noon, so we'll do that. All right, well, the motion to go
Move
into
to go on
executive
to
session.
discuss litigation personnel, individual personnel matters.
I think it's potential litigation and property acquisition.
Okay,
So move.
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Aye, all opposed? Do it. we're back in session from our executive session with no action taken. So we're going to recess to the 28th at noon. And I think we're going to take a ride.
Magic.
Done.
Well, while, us, or we?
How many are going? For four, or
Yeah.
more than three? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say we recess after we get back from the Paramount.
That's a good idea. Very good. We'll do that. All right. Let's see, let me get some of this in.